Boom! Y'all better buckle up. Today's show is going to be something to remember. We're going to talk about the lecture that Tanisi Coach did at Butler last night. We're going to talk about this situation that's going on with the Trump administration defying subpoenas and not answering to Congress. And we're going to talk about what you can do about it. You ready?
This is TomSnakeTV.com.
Are you ready?
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Welcome. For those who don't know, this is Elder Mmoja Ajabu, your host for Ajabu Speaks. This program is dedicated to stripping the clothes off of well-dressed lies. So this program is X-rated. It's X-rated because the truth will not have on any clothes. So if you're seeking something other than the truth, I would suggest that you go talk to one of those, or go listen to one of those, or go see one of those talk show hosts who's going to give you a well-dressed lie. Because on this program, you're not going to get anything but the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt-naked truth. You're listening to the most truthful talk show host in the business. I don't know if any of y'all was able to go over to Clues Hall this past Wednesday, May 8th, 2019, but they do a Marion McFadden Memorial Lecture Series every year. And it's the Marion McFadden Memorial Lecture Series was established after the Library Foundation received a gift from the estate of Marion McFadden, who was the director of public libraries from 1945 to 1956. This annual Arthur Lecture Series was named in her honor. This year, they are proud to receive support from the Indianapolis Public Library. So they brought in Ta-Nehisi Coates. Probably most of y'all are familiar with him, but let me give you a little biographical background. Ta-Nehisi is a distinguished writer and resident at New York University's Arthur L. Carter Journalism Institute. He is the author of the best-selling books, The Beautiful Struggle, We Were 8 Years in Power, talking about Obama, and Between the World and Me, which won the National Book Award in 2015. Ta-Nehisi is a recipient of a MacArthur Fellowship. He is also the current author of the Marvel comics, The Black Panther and Captain America. At the lecture yesterday, and it was an excellent lecture, it really wasn't a lecture, it was a conversation between him and another lady. But she was questioning him about what he does to get ready to write a book. And in the course of him writing, let's see, the discussion moderator was Tamara Winfrey Harris. But she asked him about why he is always writing about issues that deal with people of African descent. And in the course of him sharing information with her, he was saying that you got to understand, or in fact, she asked him, what is the thing, or what is a thing that you have learned since you've been writing that you did not know before you started to write? And his answer was that he has learned now how central the people of African descent are to the history of America. When he said that, I thought of Neely Fuller, who has said that if you do not understand race in America, everything else will confuse you. And in the process of Ta-Nehisi sharing what he had learned that he didn't know after he started writing, he stated that you got to understand that people of African descent are central to the economic development of America because we have been in this country for 400 years. In fact, 2019, the good year of our Lord, is the 400th year after the first landing of brothers and sisters from the continent who were enslaved and landed in Jamestown, Virginia. They landed in Jamestown, Virginia in 1619. 400 years of that landing is this year, 2019, in which we live now. But he made a point that just shook me. He says when you look at the 400 years, you got to understand that 250 of those years, people of African descent were enslaved in America. So if you look at the 400 years and understand that people of African descent were enslaved for 250 years of that 400 years, then you understand that when you talk about us being recognized as being free, we've only been recognized as being free for 150 years. That means, are you ready for this? That means, I'm saying, are you really ready for this? That means that our people of African descent in America, our existence in America, we were enslaved or have been enslaved longer in America than what we have been free. And it's questionable whether we are free. I'm telling you, I'm unbought, unbossed, and unafraid of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt naked truth. You are listening to the most truthful talk show host in the business. And so Tahisi said when he started writing and he started researching and he started to understand that we've been enslaved longer than what we have been free in America, he started looking at the centrality of the African experience in America. And he found out that because of us giving that free labor for 250 years, that is the foundation of the wealth and the health of America to this day. Are y'all listening to me? America could not be the military power, the financial power, the power that it is in the world without the free labor that it took from my and your forefathers and mothers. And we've been enslaved longer in America than what we have been free. And it's interesting that he is the one that wrote the Black Panther, which was, central to the movie that's breaking all of the income records, the end game, breaking all the records, and he wrote it. And he stated that we have been enslaved longer than what we have been free in America. And he says once you start understanding that, then you start understanding why people will act out. And he made another point. He says now, a young man got up and asked him, he says, all right, you talking to the MSNB crowd. These people here are pretty much the MSNBC crowd. They're probably of a liberal nature. But how do you persuade the Fox crowd to come on and act like that they're humans, act like that they want to treat humans as being humane? He says, how do you persuade that crowd? Ta-Nehisi responded, he says, one thing that you got to understand is some people understand and they ain't trying to act any differently because they do understand. They understand that because they keep us at the bottom end of the totem pole, that they are at the top end of the totem pole. And if they were to start treating us in a humane way, then that means that they would lose something as we gain something. They ain't trying to lose something, so they are really intent on stopping us from gaining something. And it's not a question of them not knowing better. See, if you read King as preacher, and I forget the author, but in there, one of his top lieutenants quotes how their initial strategy of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, their initial strategy was that white folks was acting ugly because they didn't know no better. He said that was when they started debriefing and understanding how they were moving forward. He said that was one of the biggest mistakes that the civil rights movement made in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC. That was one of the biggest mistakes that they made because they understood after interacting with them white folks that them white folks knew what they were doing. It wasn't that they didn't know that people of African descent are humane and human. They wanted to treat us inhumane and like we were not human. Because in them treating us inhumane and treating us like we were not human, they were making money. That is one of the pillars of the thought of America. And it upsets me. And it upsets me because you got people of African descent that have bought into that. And it's to our detriment. And I'm telling you that the people of African descent, descendants of Africa, who have been enslaved in America more than they have been free, to buy into that type of mentality makes you a traitor to the race. I look at these people right here in Indianapolis, black businessman, actually wants to run as an independent for city county council. He wants to say that he does not support the building of the new jail. And I'm talking about Antonio Lipscomb. Let me call names. I'm telling you, I'm unbought, unbossed, and unafraid of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt naked truth. He wants to come and we want to support him because we see him as the lesser of two evils when you talk about that cat that's in the 17th, representing the 17th now, Zach Adams. He needs to go. He's an accused child molester. Brother on the city county council told me that he took and imprisoned a young man, a teenager, in his house for several days, taking advantage of a young boy. And now he's representing the 17th district, the city county council 17th district, and that district is over 60% black. We don't need a white child molester representing us. And so in that regard, Antonio is the lesser of two evils, but Antonio's support, and he'll say that he don't support the jail. He says, I never supported the jail. But what I'm saying is that they're going to build the jail anyhow. And if they're going to build the jail, then we might as well make some money off the jail being built. No, Antonio. That's not a good position, Doc. And it's not a good position because when you talk about the jail, the people that they're going to lock up going to look like me and you. In fact, when you look at the demographics of the jail right now, 56% of the people in the Marion County Jail are males of African descent. Well, sister was trying to make a point. She said, well, anything that you do in America is probably going to help in the oppression of people of African descent. And that's probably true. She said, so where do you draw the line? You draw the line at the jail. You draw the line at the military. You don't help the military to go out here and kill brothers and sisters on the African continent, or brothers and sisters in South America, or brothers and sisters in Venezuela. No, you don't do that. You can find another job without help building a jail. That makes you a traitor to the race. But we are trying to support him and tell him that we will support you if you run under the banner of our party. If not, then we won't work against you, but we won't work for you. And I want to go further into that mentality of, well, they're going to build the jail anyhow. We might as well make some money from the jail being built. In essence, what you're saying is they're going to oppress us anyhow, so we might as well make some money from them being able to oppress us. We might as well go on and help them oppress us because we can make up some money from that oppression. See, that's a street mentality. There was a young man, and it upsets me, and I won't call any names here, but there was a young man, and he got into the situation to where it's that he was selling crack in the neighborhood. And he was selling crack. He got so good at it that his mother and father got strung out on the crack. They became crackheads, rock stars as they call them. And he started selling that rock to his parents. I told him, I said, man, why would you do that? It's bad enough that you sell that stuff in the neighborhood, but you got the audacity to sell it to your mama and your daddy? He told me like Lipscomb, well, they're gonna get it from somewhere. They're gonna build the jail, so we might as well make some money. This is the same mentality. They're gonna smoke the crack, Why not get it from me? I might as well make the money instead of letting somebody else make the money. The boy's mama, he ran out of crack. The boy's mama went to the person to where he was getting his crack from and asked the guy, what can I do to get a rock? She says, I'll suck your member if I can get a rock. The boy told her, I don't want you sucking on my member. Suck the dog's member. Are y'all hearing me? The boy's mother went down and kissed the dog's member because her son was selling her crack. And you know that crack, it ain't like weed. That crack, you got to have that. You don't have to have weed. You might want it. But that crack, you got to have it. Your body becomes addicted to it. Your body becomes dependent upon it. And so when you don't have it, you know, your body starts going through changes, and it's changes that you don't want to feel in your mind. And so you go and try to get that. And you want to get it to the degree that this woman was willing to suck a dog's member in order to get it. And it was her son who strung her out because he's using the same mentality. Where they gonna get it from somewhere, might as well get it from me. That's the same mentality about that jail. They gonna build it anyhow, so I might as well go on and make some money from it. No, we can't do that. See, and then you even saw that same mentality when George Bush decided to go into Iraq and wage war over there. Y'all remember? Saddam Hussein got weapons of mass destruction. We're going to go over there and we're going to stop him from having weapons of mass destruction. He's over there killing his people, and we're so humane. We are America. We can't have this man over there killing his people, when all the while the game plan was for them to go over there and steal the oil from Iraq. The same thing that they are trying to steal from Venezuela. Tony, my brother, I agree with you. And I'm glad you're listening on. Tony, he says, we, the oppressors, don't need no help to oppress ourselves. And we don't need no help. We shouldn't be helping people to oppress us. No way, shape, form. Tony, boy, you do me good, man. You know I love you. And I'm looking forward to getting out there in California and seeing you. But we got to wake these people up. And this is what I'm doing. I'm telling you, I'm unbought, unbossed, and unafraid of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt-naked truth. You are listening to the most truthful talk show host in America. And when I take you back to George Bush, when he decided to go into Iraq, and under the auspices of Saddam Hussein having weapons of mass destruction, Saddam didn't have no weapons. He has them all. And there was a big uprising here in America. And all of the liberals was talking about, I don't support the war, but I support the troops. Well, if you support the people that's fighting the war, then you support the war. You double talking. That's a well-dressed lie. And this is what Antonio will tell you. I don't support the jail, but I support people making money off the jail. I support people building the jail. I support people building the jail because if people build the jail, then they're going to make money off of the jail. Ah! That's a well-dressed lie. And we shouldn't be building no jails. And see, when you look at the jail, he talks about, well, that's $100 million. Well, when you talk about that $100 million, all of that is not going to come to the black community. If the city follows the law and gives 15%, at least 15% of that money to businesses owned by people of African descent. 15% of $100 million is about $15 million. I'm telling Antonio, why go after 15 million when there's 300 million sitting over here that we leaving on the table every year? What am I talking about? The same law that he's talking about that says that the city should give businesses owned by people of African descent 15% of the contracts to build the jail is the same law that says that the city should give at least 15% of its business to businesses owned by people of African descent. The city's budget is $2.1 billion. 15% of $2.1 billion is right around $300 million. Why go after 15 million and to help in your oppression when you can go after 330 million and help in your development? Antonio, you got to wake up, man. Our people need leaders. And you very eloquent and speak, but we don't need any well-dressed lies. And we need someone to represent the 17th district, the city county council 17th district of Indianapolis, of Marion County. We need someone who's accessible, and that could very well be you. We were going to run a candidate in the 17th, and we withdrew our candidate so that we would not to split the vote, so that you have the greatest chance, the greatest opportunity to win. But man, we can't be supporting you and you want to build a jail just because you can make some money. Man, that don't work. And then you want to tell us you don't support the jail, but because they're going to build the jail, you support businesses of African descent getting contracts to build the jail. Well, just like if you are against the war, but you support the troops that fight the war, is a lie. If you say that you are against the jail, but you support the people who's going to build the jail, then that's a lie also. And we don't need no liar. Even though in politics, everybody that you're dealing with is a liar. That's what politicians are, good liars. And you're going to make a good politician. But you got to be our liar. We don't need you to be lying at our detriment. If you're going to lie, lie for our benefit. And that's the deal. We've got to stand up. And that's the point that Ta-Nehisi was making. That we have got to really be conscious and intentional about turning around this slave mentality, this American mentality, this oppressor's mentality that allows us to do things that helps in our oppression just because we're making money. We've been enslaved 250 years. We've been so-called free for 150 years. And that 250 years is still controlling our thoughts when we're supposed to be free. You've been listening to Elder Mmoja Ajabu, your host for Ajabu Speaks. This program is dedicated to stripping the clothes off of well-dressed lies. Because I'm unbought, unbossed, and unafraid of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt-naked truth. Every Monday, 6 o'clock, we meet at 6250 West 38th Street at 6 p.m. at the House of Legends. If you want to get organized to build an independent party, then we are organizing to do just that. And our party will have our interests at hand. I just have one question for you. You ready?
Yeah.
This is TomSnakeTV.com.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Ready?
You can't